All right, so welcome everyone. We are reviewing the top 5. We have all the judges here today. We've got Pen, Lazy, and Danum. Obviously, they've introduced themselves in the launch video, so if you want to see who they are, go watch that. We're going to have a quick fire round of basically just giving, for each of the games, what we enjoyed about each one. So give 1 point each, and one thing we would improve on, or something that we would like to see for future developments if your game didn't have anything too much to critique. We'll go in order of categories, and then we'll give the overall winner at the very end. But obviously, if you're watching, you'll probably guess who the winner is by the time you've gotten further in. So we'll be going in order of a certain order of speakers, just to make it easier for us to chat. So Dana will be giving his points first, then Pen, Lazy, and then I will give closing thoughts and introduce the next game. So that's the format. We're going to try and keep it quick and fire, as we all are on our lunch breaks and are going to have to work very soon. So yes, to start with the first game, Yersenia. This one was, in terms of category, we all felt that this one was the best in polish, so congratulations on getting that. Dana, would you like to give 1 point that you enjoyed and one thing that you would improve on of Yersenia?
Yeah, I thought the theming, so just how it all looked, how it felt, how it blended together, the story it was telling, I thought that was great. I got a great vibe from that. The only thing that I kind of thought was meh was the feel of the gameplay. That was the real thing that kind of icked me about the game. It felt a bit off, especially the jump lag. My main concern was that. But theming was great. Vibe was great.
The art overall was amazing, but I also want to comment on the use of the game assets. I felt they were placed very well. Nothing looked out of place, and it just was smooth all around. And what I would like to see improved on is kind of the overall game feel, like Dan was saying. It could have been improved, kind of the jumping and attacking and everything, just a little more enjoyable, and it would have been awesome.
So for me, I think you did an incredible job of onboarding players to the experience. Like whenever you introduced a new ability or attack or anything like that, it was very clearly marked, and you got an opportunity to explore that new ability straight away to kind of reaffirm how to use it, which was really, really well done. And it kind of on the flip side of that, we didn't get to experience using all that much. It was a bit too short of an experience, such that I would have liked to see us using these abilities more in just a few more developed levels. I understand that this was more of a tutorial experience, a very well polished one, but it would have been nice to have a bit more experience using what we've learned.
Yeah, no, I will echo all the same feelings. Like the aesthetics, the way it looked, really, really well put together. The cohesion between all the assets, the way that every single thing, from the UI to the way that you move, the sounds and all that felt really cohesive and really polished. But yeah, I feel like could have seen some more improvements with the theme in terms of showing it in a bit more of a literal sense. So some examples of games you could look into, even like Mario and Luigi's Inside Story, where it's similar concept. But yeah, just something to give you the wider sense of, oh yeah, you're the small thing trying to destroy a larger organism. Would have been nice to see some actual consequences between what you're doing within the body and to the outside. But yeah, overall, we all really enjoyed, and we all thought that the polish of it was phenomenal in terms of the art quality and the animation. So congrats on that. And yeah, we'll move on to the next one, which was Labranaut. This one was best in creativity. So round of applause for Labranaut. We all really enjoyed the creativity within your game. Now, Danum, what did you enjoy and what would you improve for this game?
I thought it was really good at just being very simple but clear. It was always clear what you had to do. It was always very obvious. I thought the tutorial was very good in that it just explained the game very simply, very slowly. It was good at that. The only real complaint I had in that was that it wasn't obvious what buttons I had to press and what they did. I would have liked to see some connections between the buttons so that I know, okay, this button opens this button activates this, just so I can plan in my head how I'm going to solve something before I actually have to do it. But yeah, it was overall very clear, besides that.
I thought what you nailed with this was it had an absolute awesome charm to it. I could see this character and theme running away and becoming something for a younger audience. And I thought you nailed that. It was really well done. What I would like to see is kind of add more elements to the extreme and have kind of more extremes to it, like if you were shrinking, or just exploring different options that way.
Yeah, and for me, I think that one of the strongest things, as we've kind of already said, was the theme for the game. I can see this as probably one of the most successful games when it comes to vision for an expanded project. Like, I could see this as a tablet game for a younger audience, and it doing an incredible job for that. You've got the art down, you've got the kind of the integration and the onboarding in place. For me, I just felt the controls themselves were just a little bit underwhelming. Like you were quite slippery as you were moving, and things like not having a variable jump height for a platformer like this adds a lot of kind of juice, and just makes it feel a bit snappier. So just tighten up those controls, and you've got a great game. Great game.
I mean, on the controls, I think we all appreciated how being a larger dog or extended neck gave you different, like, or impacted your movement, which is a very, like, neat mechanic to add, because again, it gives like a con to using like one of your abilities, so can never go wrong with that. But yeah, overall, really enjoyed like how like put together the game was, and the theming was just fun. Like, it's not something you see every day in Extendable Dog, and I feel like with the idea you had a lot of potential to develop it more, to have even more complex puzzles. Because again, it seems like it's very intended for like younger audience, which, you know, completely fine. Did really, really well if that was the case. But if you wanted to sort of it be a bit more a wider audience, to include something a bit more difficult, could have explored a little bit, maybe have less levels and explored a much more difficult level, even with different types of timings, buttons that did different mechanics, or again, adding a different like mechanic for the actual player. But overall, genuinely had like a really, really solid and really, really fun like theme idea that none of the other ones really did. And yeah, just had really like loads of potential to do some fun things with it. So let's go on to the winner for the category in gameplay, which was Floofpol. Dan, would you like to share your thoughts on Floofpol?
Yeah, I thought it was really consistent and fun in what it did. It had a fun art style, fun mechanic, very simple in that, but it ramped up very nicely from nothing to extremely difficult. And the thing that I would have loved to see more were just jokes. Like, I would have loved to see more fun jokes in it, where, for example, the campfire moment I thought was great, where you distinguish the campfire and then you find one after it. I would have loved to see more of that, because it was just a lot of patterns afterwards, which were more difficult, but I would have loved to see more jokes. But overall, very well done. This was a great game. And yeah, I enjoyed it a lot, even though my hand now kind of hurts.
I really enjoyed this game. Just even though it was quick and short, you could go through a run super quick. Just clicking on the little fluff balls was just enjoyable. Seeing their little faces was so cute. The art style had a charm that at first I was on the fence about, but by the end I was like, this is amazing. It just does what it does, and it looks great. What I would love to see is some visuals when you're clicking on them and seeing the score increase, and maybe some mechanics built around that. If you get 10 in a row, or you do 10 in 5 seconds or something, and you can visually see that score increasing, I thought that would have added a lot to it and really made you want to come back and do another run. But overall, amazing. It was great at doing what it does.
Yeah, exactly. Just to kind of echo that, for me, it was funny and it was frustrating, and that's the two things it was trying to be, and it did them both very successfully. It was extremely hard. I'm an old man; I can't keep up with this kind of stuff. Especially seeing some of the scores that people have put in the group chat. I didn't even come close to hitting those. For me, I think it would have been nice to have maybe like a leaderboard feature, because this is the kind of game that you want to show off how good you are and how many you've caught. Having that in place, but what it did well, and it was just extremely easy to pick up and play, and it was one of the only games that I actually played multiple times. So well done.
Yeah, just to reiterate that fact, I think for the majority of us that played, we wanted to get higher scores and we wanted to come back. It wasn't even just the fact we played it, we got frustrated and left. Like, even on stream yesterday, I was like, I had this itching in my brain that I was like, I know I'm not good at this game, but I feel like I can improve next time. And that's something that's really hard to get in any game that requires a sort of like either like skill level or requires to have that sort of precision. It's like you need to give the illusion, even if you've rigged it so it's like mathematically impossible for you to get it precisely. So I know one of the things was just like, how the fuck am I supposed to get all of these in 10 seconds or whatever it was? Just the fact that it can make you believe that you can get a better score is enough of a driver to keep us playing. Hence why in gameplay, I think it was like a unanimous, like, yeah, this one definitely had the best gameplay out of all of them because we all wanted to come back. But yeah, all these little features that we've mentioned, like what Penn said as well, having some indicators to sort of keep triggering that dopamine hit whenever you've got combos or just something to show how many you've got overall. Yeah, just something to keep people hooked in. And yeah, you've got the makings of a really addicting game. Not that it already isn't, but this is like danger levels of addicting. But yeah, I think we'll move on to the second to last one. So this was best in game design, which was Falling Up. Danum, for Falling Up, one thing you would improve and one thing you enjoyed.
Yeah, I'll start by saying I suck at this game. It's so incredibly difficult, but I can see it's really well made. It's not for me. It doesn't work for me, but still, the gameplay is solid. It does what it says it does, and it does it well. The only thing that I would say is that you made intentional decisions to make the game harder instead of more difficult, instead of easier, when I think the concept alone is hard enough. Like, you could have just kept that and actually made it easier in some regards, or had the option to have the easier mode. Like, for example, the things that extend your time, have those just stay always, whether you die by the floor or the wall that comes to towards you. Just making decisions like that could have improved the game a lot for me. But yeah, still, it's a solid game. It does what it says it does. It's a good rage game, and I think you did a good job still. Yeah.
I also really sucked at the game. I felt like I wanted to be better, but I couldn't. I tried quite a few times. But with all that being said, I feel you nailed the theme. It was really cool. The pixel art was awesome. I liked the overall style, and I thought it was overall the game design, like we said, won, and it was great. I just wanted to win, which I didn't. So I would I would like to see, like, easier level or tutorial, something to build me up, so I felt like I accomplished something, because I kind of just left being like a little bit raged, which is the type of game. Which also brings me to my next point, which is I could see this being popular with kind of speed running and, like, streamers playing it and being like, look at how far I went, look at what I did. So I could see it being popular there, and overall that's just like why I think it has potential. So well done.
Yeah, I also sucked at the game and did not manage to complete it. There's a bit of a recurring theme here, which kind of leads me to the point. I think there needs to be some kind of difficulty modifier, because I feel like even if you got rid of that wall that was chasing you, it still would have been hard. You could have a time setting, so you still want to get there as quick as possible, but I can take it at a pace that is comfortable for me. That would have been, if you'd done that, I probably would have been able to finish the game and see the ending. That was absolutely amazing. Like, the fact that there was an actual ending to it and you got to see them come together, phenomenal. And it's just those little touches that were really good. But overall, it was snappy. It did what it did. It was a cohesive art style. It did everything really well. I just couldn't see all of it because it was too hard. Yeah,
I will say thank you for adding that in the actual recording, because I think a lot of us wanted to see the end, but hey, have a guess as to how good I was at the game. Not very good. So yeah, it was great to see what different levels there was on offer. But yeah, I feel, again, like the guys have already said, there's loads of different things you could do to adjust to different skill levels. But if you were aiming specifically for like a more hardcore, like speed running or like just difficult game community, I can see why this would go well. But for a more casual audience, I feel, yeah, either experiment with the controls to see what other mechanics you could, not mechanics, but like what other ways you could control the characters to make it a little bit easier for some people if you want to do something more casually. But yeah, overall, like, no further comments. It was fun. It made me rage and I enjoyed it. But yeah, congrats on that. And I think, yeah, we'll move on to, I'm conscious of time. I think Delve is it's the overall winner. So congrats on Delve on getting pretty much top scores all round. And whilst we were discussing, like, earlier, because we had about an hour of discussion before this, yeah, We had a lot to say, lots of good, a couple of little things we would have liked to have seen better, but overall, this game, like, I mean, you guys have seen me play on stream twice. Like, it is an experience and a half. So, Dana, would you like to give your points on Delve?
Yeah, sure. Like you said, incredible game. The aesthetic is awesome, but like most of all, I thought the writing was really good. Like just reading these conversations, I felt that. I felt what they were saying. It didn't feel like it was written for a game. It just felt like it was real almost. And I thought that was great. And then when that cut out, like near the end of the game, when that just completely disappeared and you're alone in the dark and it was really dark, that extreme from being comfortable in a conversation and then just suddenly not, thought that was great. The one thing that I thought was kind of a bit lacking was the ending, the full ending, because it was very obvious that you were like no, it wasn't obvious, but you were in space or something, or like you were dead. Like I didn't really get what the ending was, and I felt like it was supposed to be like the extreme, but to me, I didn't get that. But I thought still the writing was incredible, and if it would have just ended with black, I would have loved it, and I might have even thought it was better that way. Yeah, great game.
Just going to echo a lot of that. I felt the same. It was very atmospheric, and I love that. The sound design was awesome. Just kind of, swimming. I guess not swimming, just moving along in the water was, and seeing the seaweed and the bubbles and the sound just felt great. Like everything, it just felt like a polished game at this point. I felt like I was playing a real game, which they all are. And I loved it. One thing I would like to see to fill in just a little bit of kind of this slower pace is variety and different fish, or sharks, or scary monsters, even just like swimming by and lurking, and maybe even a way to like track them. Just something to do. But also echoing the narrative, it was just I felt like that filled in the gaps perfectly. If you didn't have that, it would have felt a little bit too empty and slow, but it all just like came together perfectly. And great job. Outstanding.
Yeah, again, just kind of echoing everything. Like, it was really well paced from a narrative standpoint. You really got to get to know these characters, and you see the kind of the dynamic between them changing the further you got down. You did a really good job with kind of the contrast of everything. Like at the top, it was all light, and the further you went down, the darker it got. There were really happy moments, euphoric moments, and then really sad moments that just clashed against each other, and it was a really good extreme change. Again, the sound design was phenomenal. Like, I remember getting about halfway and I felt the pressure from the sound design. It felt like I was deep underwater. And I think that's the main thing. I felt it. I didn't just hear it, which was incredibly done. For me, I think I would have just liked to have seen a bit more variety in the level design, maybe some branching paths so you can kind of choose different ways to get lost in this underworld. And just a bit more variety in kind of assets that you use. Like, I know you used more of the seaweed up at the top and there was less so at the bottom, but I would have liked to see a bit more of that. Maybe some like foreground assets to really sell the parallax as well, just so because it would really emphasize the scale of what's going on down there just by having things moving in front of you. But other than that, literally great game, really good story. It hit me in the feels, and yeah, deserves the win for sure.
I will again echo everything and just add, I really enjoyed how the seaweed, like there was loads of little details, like the seaweed being on different axes so you could just like swim through, and like it felt like you were weaving through a better seaweed. Those are little details that made the game feel alive, even though, you know, in a weird sense it was ice devoid of life the deeper you went. So you really sold the vision, so you got that polished to such a level where it's like you really could believe, you could get immersed, even though the mechanics were simple and were like, you know, at the end of the day it was just a narrative like journey you were going through. like it took you on a journey, it took you on an experience. And obviously on the first time I played on stream, we all were like, oh shit, like it was like everyone connected with the story, regardless of, you know, how much people were reading, how much people were skipping over. Like you could still feel the evolution of it going from like an extremely, you know, more living kind of thing, and then to the isolation you got at the end where now you've lost communication. So yeah, I feel like I've said more on stream as well, so looking at time as well, I won't reiterate too many of those points, but in general, like massive like round of applause for yourself, for the Delve team, and for everyone else as well who submitted. Yeah, great stuff all around. Really enjoyed a lot of the games. I know there was some particular like Beyond the Dust we really enjoyed. That was a fun little concept. The duck one, everyone loved the duck. And I think there was I think it was Fragmented Souls, which is the one that broke me mentally when we were playing it on stream, because it made me question, am I actually human or am I a robot? So just wanted to give a special shout out to those ones as well. And obviously thanks to all the judges. So I'll give you guys a round of applause. Thank you for helping out and, you know, bringing your communities into mine, because I know a lot of you guys had your own communities that have come in and helped out. So yeah, it's been wonderful. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hopefully you guys enjoyed judging the games. Before we finish, I know Lazy and Pen, you guys had some announcements on updates either on games or stuff you wanted to give a shout out on. So if you have anything you can say now. So Lazy, I don't know what was it that you wanted to mention, or did I miss here? I can't remember now.
I didn't mention anything, but I'll take the opportunity to advert. Wishlist Amber's Tale on Steam. It's a great Metroidvania. You'll love it. Or Stranded as well, whose assets have been made by this guy as well, Penusbmic. So shout out to Pen as well.
Yeah, yes. And Pen, your cards that are coming out, or what was the update? Like, I've been seeing stories, but I've not caught up on what's going on.
I made some holographic cards if you want to buy those.
They look so
They
sick.
ship to almost everywhere in the world. So it's pretty cool. You can check those out. And also Wishlist Ornoga on Steam, which is my new game announced a week ago. So check out that as well.
Hell yeah. And Dana, where should people follow you? Is it mainly on YouTube, or have you got other socials that you want to bring people into?
It's mostly YouTube. I don't really. I'm mostly a YouTuber, and I'm even creating a new YouTube channel, but that isn't out yet, so I can't really advertise anything. So yeah, I don't really have anything. I don't even have a Steam page. Like I'm a fake game developer here. Yeah, no, I don't know. I've got nothing.
That's all good. Well, we'll tell people to go and subscribe and to keep a lookout on any future projects go. And obviously on my end, we do game jams literally every other 3 months. So if you enjoy that, keep a tune with that. Other than that, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing in my community. So come around and see where we end up at the end of the year. But yeah, I think I'll stop recording there because I know we got to go. Some of us have got work to do in like less than 15 minutes. So again, thank you all. Congrats to everyone who won. Yeah, and we'll see you around. So I'm going to stop the recording now.